My students, in fact, one of the members of my membership has raised a question this week, actually last week on our last call. So she was asking about omega-3 fatty acids, and she said that she read a few articles that explained how these fatty acids are not so helpful and not so healthy, and particularly for cats. She wasn't sure if she should use them or not. And she also added that part of her experience was that she didn't have a good feeling from using some omega-3 supplementation in her life. So she was quite discouraged by that, and she thinks that maybe it's not something that can help her cat. So I wanted to help you also. I wanted to answer this question, but also help you find out if omega-3 fatty acids are a supplement that you should be using for your cat or not, and what is the truth behind these claims. So are omega-3 fatty acids beneficial or not? So I have researched this subject a little bit in depth because I wanted to know where these claims were coming from. Because, as always, I like to have a scientific approach to different things, and especially natural supplements. I want to see the research that is in there. And part of my training has really focused on looking at the research behind the natural supplements claims, and also the experience, obviously, that I have built with my own profession and expertise. This helps me really have a really direct look into what these supplements do or don't do for cats. So in this case, I do understand that these claims are out there, but you also have to understand that sometimes things are interpreted differently. So it's the way the science gets interpreted, and then obviously the articles that come out are not um, very reliable. So obviously there is a ton of information out there nowadays. So this is where you can benefit from having someone that has actually tried these things and has helped many cats and many cat parents with these issues, so that you don't just get confused with all the different pieces of information out there, but you actually get to understand the reality of different supplements. Because I do understand that supplementation can be very confusing, and there are lots of different claims out there. Sometimes they are very contradictory. So it is difficult sometimes to understand where the truth lies. And sometimes it's also it's not a black or white situation. Sometimes it is a nuanced situation. So we want to understand, in this case, if omega-3 are beneficial or not. Now, I have always recommended omega-3 fatty acids for a number of conditions, and I think they are very beneficial for a lot of different things, particularly lowering inflammation, kidney disease, for example. I've used them in arthritis protocols, also cognitive dysfunction protocols, and also, nervous system protocols. There are other things like, digestion, for example, helping with gut issues and immune system regulation. So there are lots of things out there that include omega-3 fatty acids in the protocol. But what I want to stress here is that this depends on what kind of omega-3 you are using and what dose you are using. So unfortunately, there are lots of omega-3s out there that are not fresh and also not third-party tested. And this means that you might be using something that gets rancid very quickly, and then it becomes toxic instead of helpful. And so I'll just try to go in an order manner here to explain this topic. So first of all, some articles focus on human population studies only. There are not so many studies that are like double-blind studies on cats in particular. And so we have to infer the information that we get from human studies for cats. But also there are a lot of human studies that, as I said before, get interpreted in the wrong way. And the way you interpret data can completely change the results of that particular study. And so, for example, there is also another element here, which is that many studies show no benefit when, for example, the doses are too low, and also the oils, as I said before, are oxidized or rancid. And also the omega-6 versus omega-3 ratio is completely ignored. And so we just put everything in a bucket, and it's like throwing the baby out with the bathwater. So we want to make sure that we interpret things correctly and do the proper research, because this is one of the topics that is researched the most in the cat world as well, and in generally in nutrition. So we do know that omega-3 fatty acids are beneficial in so many ways, but however, they need to be really good quality. And sometimes you don't realize that an oil has gone rancid or it's on its way to go rancid. They are delicate oils, so they go rancid very easily. And so you really have to pay attention to where you store your oil. And also, if you buy an oil, then it's better to buy fish oil soft gels, because every soft gel, when it gets open, air gets in contact with the oil, but every soft gel will be basically fresh. And if you keep it in the fridge, so with these two features, basically, you will make sure that your oil lasts as long as possible. And you have to buy the correct oil. You have to buy a really high quality oil. You might pay a little bit more for that brand, but this brand might be worth all you pay for, just because they do third-party testing on every single batch they produce. They check that there are no heavy metals in there. They check that the oils are fresh and properly processed and properly filtrated, and they don't contain harmful chemicals. So you need to really focus on quality here, particularly for this kind of supplement. Generally, always it's important to focus on quality for supplements, especially natural supplements, but for omega-3 oils is definitely something that you need to focus on. So basically, when you don't want to get an omega-3 oil from the supermarket or from a place where it's been on the shelf for ages. In fact, I will include a link down in the description below where you can buy an omega-3 product that is of good quality. And I know that this particular company, they store these products in a proper condition, so is not in a heated environment and is not exposed to the sun or the light all the time. So you definitely want to make sure that what you buy and what you pay for is the quality that you need, because if you feed your pet a supplement, or yourself a supplement that is not of good quality, and you are not sure, you don't know that it's rancid, because especially with these soft gels, you don't really taste the taste. Luckily, because it's fish oil, we don't like fish oil that much. Cats find it sometimes a little bit more palatable, unless it's rancid, of course. But for us, we don't like to taste it. So if we ingest a soft gel completely in whole, then the result is that we are not sure that it's gone rancid until it's ingested, and then it starts repeating on us and it starts feeling unpleasant, and maybe you also feel lousy because we ingested this thing. So we definitely want to focus on quality, as I said before, because of what I just mentioned. So omega-3s, actually, what they do in cats, they support the anti-inflammatory pathways. They also help regulate the responses, the immune system. They support skin, coat. That's another thing I suggest them for allergies and skin conditions. So they support, as I was saying, skin, coat, joints, kidneys, brain, heart even. So they definitely play an important role in chronic inflammation, arthritis, kidney disease, IBD, skin issues, cognitive aging. So they're not obviously a magic cure. Nothing is. There's always more than you need to do than just give a supplement. Is not the same as I give a pill and I get a result. We're not talking about a pharmaceutical drug that also comes with side effects. This stuff, when given properly and in the correct dose, usually has no side effects, and it has good potential for benefits, but obviously you need some time for these things to show the benefits that they provide. So they are definitely part of a foundational support for your cat if you want to give them to your cat. And some cats, they do poorly on omega-3, that is true, but it's because usually is when oils are oxidized. So for example, if you look at the oil, the omega-3s that are sold for pets particularly, usually when you go into the ratio of omega-6 and omega-3s, because good omega-3s are more expensive, you see these pet brands, first of all, they come in a big bottle, and a big bottle, the oil will go rancid much quicker. But also omega-6 are not anti-inflammatory the same way omega-3s are. So you end up buying a product that is deficient in these qualities, because it's a cheaper solution, and it's a cheaper product because it's made for pets in particular by companies that are not very reliable or very trustworthy. And then you think you're getting your cat a supplement that is omega-3, but actually what you're giving your cat is mainly omega-6. So I don't have an issue using human supplements in certain instances, and sometimes they are just of a better quality, but I need to always check how much we're giving and the quality of the supplement, and also what kind of supplement it is, because when it comes to cats, some supplements are okay for humans and cats and other animals, but some supplements are not okay for cats, and we need to be aware of where the line lies and what supplements are adaptable for cats and what supplements should not be given to cats. And going back on the omega-3s in this case, you can see some cats doing not so well on omega-3s because omega-3s that are not of good quality can maybe worsen inflammation, because if they are rancid, they will worsen inflammation instead of helping. They will make things worse. They will irritate the gut, and they will also increase oxidative stress, so they can overwhelm digestion, and also they can trigger vomiting and loose stools, and they're not really what you want, obviously, from an omega-3 supplement. They do the opposite of what you're looking for. So any products on the market are not third-party tested, especially not every batch is third-party tested, and they contain heavy metals, as I said before, and sometimes they're already rancid when you purchase them. So sometimes paying that little bit more, which is not impossible, as in it's not a big difference, but paying that little bit more will guarantee that you get a good quality instead of paying a little bit less, but you already buy a product that is deficient. So what matters when you choose an omega-3 oil, the non-negotiable about this, as I said before, it's a third-party testing for purity, for oxidation on every single batch, and you want to have clear sourcing of fish or algae, and then you want to have a proper stabilization. So you want to make sure that this oil is preserved with either tocopherol, vitamin E, and there is like a control processing so that, again, it doesn't oxidize easily and it stays as stable as possible. And obviously you need to keep it refrigerated. So when you get the omega-3 in your house, you buy it and you get it, put it in the fridge straight away. And obviously if you buy capsules, it's so much better. I have a little cup that I glued to a little plate, and this is where I rest a capsule when I have to cut the capsule, which is not really a capsule, it's a soft gel. So when I cut the soft gel at the top and I rest it on this little cup that is upside down, basically it's like a little cone that is glued to the plate, and then it will rest my soft gel upside down with a cut on the top, so that I don't have to have oil leaking out of this soft gel if I place it in a little plate on its own, just like rolling around on the plate. So I rest it like that, and for one cat it lasts me, depending on the dose that you have to give and also what supplement you are buying. Obviously they come in different concentrations, so in my case it lasts me maybe a couple of times, so I will rest it there for the second day. But this oil that is included in this soft gel will be quite fresh, because when I open it, it's the first time the air has come into contact with this oil, instead of having a bottle and every time you open the bottle air comes in and out and basically makes it easier for the oil to become rancid. So another thing that you need to look for is a transparent EPA and DHA amount listed at the back in the ingredients, not just general fish oil. You want to know what you're giving your pet, and you want to, your cat in particular, and you want to know exactly how much EPA and DHA is in the oil. Some oils are concentrated, for example, and this is an advantage because you only give very little, and it's a matter of a few drops, and this is much easier for the administration of these supplements, because obviously the more the volume, the more difficult it is to get into your cat, and the smaller the volume and the easier it is for your cat to find it palatable and easy to get given if you use a syringe method or a different delivery method. So now a couple of examples of really good omega-3 brands that I love. One is Nordic Naturals. There is also Carlson is a really good brand. Some cats are sensitive to fish, so in that case you can choose a really nice algae oil. For example, Adore Beast does a really nice algae-based omega-3 oil. I am not sponsored by these brands in any way or form, but I'm just saying this to help you check these brands and see what the quality is like, and have some options for yourself. I also have a product in the description below, as I said before, that can potentially be a good option for you. So now, are they always appropriate? Not every cat needs omega-3 all the time, but it always depends on the dose, because depending on the condition, we change the dose and we give more or less depending on what support is needed. So this is where an individualized approach is useful. In my Holistic Cat Club, this is what we do. We adapt adapt different things to the particular cat that needs them. So when I have to advise somebody about what protocol to use or what supplement to use, we also look at the dose depending on what condition we're dealing with and the age of the cat, for example, etc., etc. So there are so many different factors that we want to apply to make sure that these things are given properly. But yes, to give you like a general information, a general guidance on what sort of omega-3 you should be looking for, and also just to check if you have an omega-3 already in your house, just to know what you're giving your cat, and if your cat has not had any improvement in the condition that you are supporting your cat for, maybe it is worth looking at the quality of the omega-3 and maybe changing them as to something better. So now, how do you introduce omega-3 safely? Like any other thing, you want to go low and slow because you don't want to throw supplements in their full dose from day one. You want to always introduce one supplement at a time, and just to see if there is any adverse reaction for any reasons, then you know what it was, because if you add too many at the same time, you don't know what has caused the reaction, and so you have to start from the very beginning and you are blind to what has caused this reaction. So it's much better to introduce one thing at a time and to go really slow, and then you can build up to the dose that is required to support the particular condition that you are supporting your cat for. So you want to also watch clinical signs when you introduce a new supplement. So make sure that you check if your cat is alert and not lethargic, the appetite, toilet habits, drinking, all the things. So playfulness, alertness. So yes, you want to check all these things and make sure that your cat is doing well, and then you can build up to the dose that is required. And also you want to pair with appropriate food timing, depending if a supplement needs to be given with food or without food. You obviously want to give it at the right time. And omega-3s are really good given with food. They are absolutely fine given with food. However, I don't actually add them to food because I don't want to make food non-palatable in any way. And the way I deliver supplements is separate to the way I feed my cats. I feed my cats their food, and it is wonderful and appealing and palatable as much as possible. I want them to enjoy the experience of eating, and then I deliver the supplements separately. Obviously, if you do need help with delivering supplements, I have a fantastic course actually on peeling your cat. It's called Peel Your Cat Academy. And if you want to check it out, please do so. It's a good experience for you to master. It's a good skill for you to master, so that whatever your cat needs, you're able to provide. And this way you can keep your cats healthier for longer. So yes, so we talked about storing them properly. And obviously, if anything feels off, just stop and reassess. And if you journal the stuff that you are looking at, you will always know if something has created a reaction or if there is something that changes that you need to keep count of and keep note of. So journaling is a good way to do that. It doesn't have to be a long writing list, or just the main things. And you just want to know the clinical signs are positive and they are good, and then you can continue your supplementation journey. So now, in terms of the questions that my student asked and the member of my membership asked, so omega-3s are not unhealthy by default. There is a lot of science that supports their role, and this is a solid science behind the claim that they are actually beneficial. But definitely the controversy comes from poor quality products, misapplied research, lack of context, and so on. So when you choose omega-3s properly and you use them properly in the correct dosage and in the right context, definitely they are one of the most useful and foundational tools that you can have. So as I said before, obviously, you can do this all by yourself, and you can do some research and see, depending on what your cat needs support for, you can adapt the dose, and you can definitely include omega-3s in their protocols. If you do need personal support, I do offer that in my membership, which is called the Holistic Cat Club, and the link is down below if you want to check it out. But of course, it's completely optional, and if you want to do this by yourself, it's absolutely fine. You can definitely do this by yourself and by doing some research, and there is a lot of information out there. Definitely think that omega-3 are one of those things that you can use for your cats and to support them with their health in so many ways. So last thing I wanted to say is that if you want to watch a video video on how to supplement cats that are a little bit on the shy side and they're not easy to handle. I do have a cat related video that is appearing somewhere on the screen. And yes, if you want to know more about that and you want to have some more information about how to deliver actually omega-3s and other supplements in general and how to approach a cat that is a little bit shy or is a little bit not easy to handle, watch that video next.